session. So, Søren?
Yes, thank you very much and welcome to everyone. You should be able to see my screen right now, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, great. Then we'll start. So we're going to talk about auto renewal. Yeah, this is just some housekeeping rules. I'm sorry for some of the text being in Danish, but we did this presentation for the Danish partners last week. So I have tried to translate most of the text, but there might still be a few words that are in Danish. So, but I don't think that's going to change much of the messaging that we are trying to get through to you today. So yeah, this session is going to be recorded. Yes, you will receive a recorded version of this webinar, so you can see it again if there was some kind of information that you kind of needed to hear once again, or that if you want to share it with some of your colleagues. Yes, you'll also receive the presentation with some of the links that we have in the presentation. And obviously, yes, you can interrupt and ask all the questions you will. You can ask to be unmuted if you want to ask the question by voice, or you can write it in the question box in the toolbar on the right side. So yeah, that was just some of the housekeeping. So let's start with it. Citrix has announced this auto renewal things. Now it's not a new thing. It's something that Citrix have been announcing and talking about for quite a few years now. It's been up and running in a few countries for at least 1 year now, but now it comes to the Nordic countries, and it's going to be launched on the 10th of May. So it's a few days away until auto renewal is a fact in all 3 Nordic countries. So yeah, 10th of May, that's an important date to remember. So let's talk about what it is and so on, some of the dates that are important to remember, and then who does this impact? And we're going to try to go through the entire process of this auto renewal things. Now, one thing I want to stress out is that now don't see auto renewal as a bad thing. It's a way for customers to kind of make sure, and for Citrix to make sure that no customer kind of forgets that they have a renewal and they have licenses, and especially with subscription licensing, where you kind of, you know, if you don't extend your renewals or your licenses, at some point they're going to stop working, and they don't want to come into that situation. So I understand why they're doing, and I don't think we need to be afraid of auto renewal. It just means that you as a partner and we as a distributor just need to have a very strict process for how we deal with all these renewals to make sure that we do it in good time. Because if we do it before the expiration date, nothing changes. You can still do the renewal like you have used to. You can still invoice the customer, and you can still make the profit that you do today on renewals. So no need to worry about auto renewal as such. But obviously we need to understand what it is and what it means in order to talk to our customers about it. So yeah, these are the products that are a part of the auto renewal stuff. So you can look on the left side, you can see all the products, and if you look at the right side, Citrix has tried to kind of put them into categorize them into the different areas. But you know, the easiest thing is to think of it as it's all the licenses. Every Citrix license that you sell today is a part of this auto renewal thing. The only product or the only license I have until now have found that doesn't have anything to do with auto renewal is Podio. So if you have customers who have Podio licenses, those licenses are at the moment not a part of auto renewal. But again, think of it as all licenses. That's the easy way of doing it. You can obviously try to memorize all the different products, but yeah, see it as all licenses are part of auto renewal. So how does this, you know, what does this mean for the customers, and how do they get enrolled into this? So the way this process have been going on, and it has been going on for quite a while, is that with all the quotes that have been made from Citrix to customers, being a renewal, being a subscription license, or whatever it might be, as part of that quote, obviously Citrix has some terms and conditions, and those terms and conditions say that when they buy this license, they automatically get enrolled into this auto renewal program. So a lot of our customers, or a lot of your customers, have already been and are already enrolled into the system. They might not know that they have been it, but they have been it through to those terms and conditions that was part of those transactions that they have made. Those terms and conditions, you can find them. I just put in a screenshot of the first page. I think it's about 5 or 6 pages about these terms and conditions. And you can find them if you go in on Sales IQ under your partner portal and you search for auto renewal overview and FAQs for partners. You will find the entire text for the terms and conditions if you want to send it to the customers, if you want to read it yourself. It's a lot of legal stuff, but the bottom line is that it says that customers agree to become a part of auto renewal. So that's how you can find it. These are the dates where Citrix started to enroll customers. So the 16th of October, way back in 2019, every customer who bought cloud licenses after that date got enrolled into auto renewal on cloud licenses. Now, obviously, it hasn't been activated in the Nordic countries, so it haven't had any impact on the customers, but they got enrolled. So all of customers who have bought cloud licenses after the 16th of October 2019, they are enrolled. At the 3rd of February 2020, Citrix started the enrollment of subscription-based on-prem licenses. So customers who have bought on-prem subscription-based licenses after the 3rd of February, they are also enrolled. And on the 26th of August, all customers that made a renewal on their select or their priority maintenance on their on-prem licenses, they also got enrolled. So you can see pretty much all customers are enrolled at this moment. Obviously, there are some customers who have renewal that was before August last year. So if a customer had a renewal last year in June, they didn't get enrolled because the enrollment plan hadn't been activated for select maintenance at that date. So they will not be a part of the auto renewal program when they come to their renewal here in June. But that again, these are just the dates. It's not something that is very, very important for you, but if customers want to know how they did get enrolled and when they got enrolled, these are the dates that you can use when you talk to the customers. Now, who is a part of auto renewal? Now, and again, the easy thing is to say all customers. So it really doesn't matter. But obviously, there are some rules that kind of determines that all government customers by default cannot be a part of the auto renewal program. So if you have government customers, they are not a part of the auto renewal program, even though they bought licenses after those dates that you saw on the previous page. Now, important thing here is to note that in order to be a government customer, you need to make sure that you are also listed as a government customer within Citrix. So if you are a government customer as a company, but Citrix see you as an easy customer or an ELA customer, you know, those different kind of aspects that Citrix have, then, you know, it really doesn't matter if you are a government customer. So you need to make sure as a customer, what is your status within the Citrix system? And obviously, if you're a government customer, you will not be part of this. But again, use this thumb rule that, you know, all customers are part of this auto renewal program. That's that way you don't lose out on any of your customers. Now, the entire process around this and how this works is that, you know, it's not that there's that much difference in how Citrix notify both you as a partner, us as a distributor, and the end user. You know, 120 days before renewal, an email is sent to you as a partner and us as a distributor. That is that we have a customer with an upcoming renewal. When we come to 90 days before, 3 months before, then the customer starts to get the notification, and they do actually already at that point get an auto renewal quote into their My Citrix portal. So at that point, you can see the auto renewal and you can see what is it that's going to happen if you kind of do nothing until your auto renewal date or your renewal date. And then obviously Citrix sends out emails 30 days before, 1 day before, and then on the date of the renewal, if nothing has happened, no one has done anything actively, yeah, then the auto renewal will go into will take action, and then the auto renewal will be going through, and the customer will get an invoice directly from Citrix. So that's the process. So 90 days before, that's where you can see the auto renewal quote. Now we are going to talk about some of the action that can be taken in order for this. But what is important in this page is especially the word completed. Now, because it says here that 1 day before renewal is the last day for you as a partner to transact a renewal before it goes into auto renewal. But again, it needs to be completed before the auto renewal date, or the renewal date, which is the 0. So, and again, Citrix have a SLA on these kind of deals that says that they have the right to use up to 5 working days in order to process an order on a renewal. Normally, it doesn't take 5 days, but they have the right to use 5 days to process it. So even though if you place an order 1 day before expiration date, but for some reason it gets on hold within Citrix order system, there is some kind of error with it, there's some credit check, whatever it might be, if the order haven't been completed on the expiration date of the licenses, the auto renewal will still go into effect. Even though you place the order, your PO will just be invalid then. So that's why it shouldn't say -1 day. It should say -5 days. Because if you place a PO 5 days before expiration date, you'll be sure that it will be completed before the renewal date. So 5 days before, that should be your deadline. So remember that. So if we go in and, as a customer, you can go in and check whether you are enrolled or not. And the way that happens, I've taken some screenshots here, so we're going to walk through them. So if the customer logs in on the My Citrix portal and they click on Renew and Manage Maintenance Program, click Launch dette system, they will get into dette system. You might know dette system today. I don't think the customer does, but that's just an easy way for them to go in and see whether they are enrolled or not. Now, this customer, you can see on cloud, it's a manual renewal thing. So they are not at this moment enrolled into cloud. It will probably be that they haven't got any cloud licenses today. So they will be enrolled when they make their first purchase. On subscription and select services, there is an auto renewal name. So that means that they are enrolled into the auto renewal. If they were a government customer, it would say not eligible under these areas here. So that's also a way of seeing whether you have the right status as a government customer in the Citrix system, is to see whether it says not eligible on these pages at this area. So that's what it looks like as an end user. Now, the new stuff that the customer is going to see when they log into the My Citrix portal is also that they got this point at the left side that's called auto renewals. And that is where they can see all the information about the auto renewals. Now, I have another screenshot a little bit later that puts more effort into it, because right now, since it haven't been launched, none of our customers already have stuff in here. So we don't have a screenshot of it. So we got some screenshots from the US. So we can look at that just in a few seconds. But this is where they go in and they will have a quote, the renewal quote. There will be a date for when it will be go into effect. There's a status for the quote. Is it active? Is it withdrawn? There's a currency. What currency do they get the invoice in? And then there'll be a PSRP price. That is the list price of the renewal. So it's also important to note on this side here that it will not be by any means any cheaper for the customer to choose an auto renewal. It will be the list price that they will pay. So there is not really any idea or any benefit for the customer in actively choosing to use the auto renewal. So again, it shouldn't be a problem, and most customers will probably still use the channel as the way to process the renewals. So this is what it looks like for the customer. Now, all invoicing will by default be in US dollars. but they can go in and they can choose to take other currencies. At this moment, none of the Nordic currencies are available, so they can choose between US dollars and euros. Now, if they choose euro, they need to approve also or accept that there's going to be an uplift, because then it's Citrix who makes the conversion from US dollars to euro, and obviously there's going to be an uplift in that manner. So I assume that most customers will be using US dollars. Hopefully none of them is going to use it, since they're going to transact their renewals through you just like they're used to. Now, they can go in also as a customer, and it's important you know it if you want to guide your customers. There's also a point called Invoices on the My Citrix portal, where they can go in and they can choose whether, if they get to an auto renewal and they do get an invoice, how do they want that invoice? Do they want it as you know, by post, as a physical invoice, or do they want this more environmental friendly paperless invoice, which just means a PDF through an email instead of that? And mostly by default is going to be PDF by email. And then they can click on, you know, who is going to receive this email or this invoice, so they can add additional people and make sure that it's sent to the right persons within the organization. So that's just, you know, get them to set it up to make sure that if by any means that this happens, you know, that the invoice is sent to the right persons. So yeah, that's also something that they can choose. Now, if a customer were to say, well, I don't want auto renewal, then they can go in and say, I would like to cancel the auto renewal. Now, you can say, why would they do this? Because the second that they do a transaction through you as a partner, the auto renewal process is going to be canceled. But if a customer has licenses that they don't want to renew, they just want the select maintenance to expire, or they just want the subscription-based licenses to expire, and they don't need the licenses anymore, then they actively have to go in and cancel the auto renewal. So today, you know, if a customer decides, I don't need to renew my maintenance because I don't want to use Citrix anymore, or they just want to, you know, turn down the number of licenses that they use, they just have the licenses run out. They don't do anything, they just leave it. And that's not possible anymore. You need to actively do something in order to for that to happen. So you need to go in and cancel the auto renewal. But you only need to do it if you want to make sure that you have licenses that you want to expire, or licenses you just don't want to renew anymore. So here you can see this is a screenshot from an American customer, where you got the quote number, you got the date for the auto renewal, you have a status for the quote, it's approved. There is a flag that kind of indicates what currency you'll be invoiced in, and then there is a final PSP right below this. But if you click on these three buttons on the right side, you can choose cancel auto renewal. And then it comes up and say, well, are you sure you want to cancel this? Because it's very important that you keep getting your products up to date and so on and so on. But yeah, I still want to do it. And then they have to fill out a survey. And that's mandatory. They have to do it. They have to fill this out. You know, it's just a couple of clicks, and then they submit. And the second they've done that, you can see the status have changed into withdrawn. And that way, nothing happens when you come to for this customer, the 4th of November last year. So that's something they need to understand. But again, they don't need to do it if they do the transaction through you in good time before renewal date. So that's how they cancel the auto renewal. So it's easy, but it's something that they have to do themselves. And that's important to note. You as a partner cannot do this for the customer. The customer has to do it himself. So, and this is just an add-on point, and I don't know if you know it, but it's not a new thing, but if you have customers who have licenses that have been out of maintenance for more than 1 year, then they cannot be reactivated. Now, if it's a perpetual license, obviously the license will keep working and so on. You still own the license, but you cannot reactivate maintenance on licenses that have been out of the maintenance system for more than 1 year. Now, when Citrix says you cannot, that's the same as, well, you probably need a sales exception if you want to make it happen. So I would assume that most customers can get it if they want to, but it would need a sales exception. So you need to involve Citrix in that dialogue. So that was just an add-on information to put into it. And the last page I have around this auto renewal is, better be safe than sorry. So again, if you want to make 100% sure that nothing happens for your customers, have them go in and say no to the quote. Go in and withdraw and cancel the auto renewal process. That way, nothing is going to happen. So here in the beginning, when this is new and we don't really know, because we haven't tried it, so we don't really know how it works, better be safe than sorry. So make your customers, have them do this, and then you're certain that nothing happens. But again, this is just how it is. And it's also important to note that those quotes that Citrix gives to the customers for the auto renewal, those quotes are only for the licenses that have an upcoming renewal date. So there is no date synchronization. There's nothing into the system. It just takes those few licenses that have a renewal date that is the closest renewal date. Those are the licenses that are within that quote. You can't change the auto renewal quote. It's a fixed quote. That's just how it is. So again, if the customer, and obviously a lot of customers, if they have different dates, they wish to make a date sync, they will have to use you as a partner. So I think that was actually the stuff we had about auto renewal. So again, I don't see it as that big a problem. It just means we have to be sure that we are having a dialogue with a customer about this renewal in good time. Obviously, you have that since you're probably also talking cloud transition and everything else with them, which means you probably need to speak with the customer at least 6 months before an expiration date. Yeah.
Søren.
Yes.
Yes. Can you go 2 slides back?
I think.
Yeah, that one. The next one, the cancellation. I think what is important to also remember then is if the customer replies to you guys, and if you send the order to Comax after the 5 days Søren has been talking about now, it could also be a good idea to go in here and I think cancel the auto renewal to prevent things from happening, twice. To prevent Citrix from auto renewal the license since the order is on the way. So if any customer is late placing the order, make sure that they cancel the auto renewal so that we are 100% sure that the order will go through the channel.
Yeah. Yes, agree.
There are no questions.
Well, I also think it's pretty straightforward, it's and it's something, we need to see it to kind of understand it. So I assume that here after the 10th of May, a lot of customers is going to reach out to you because they're going to get some new emails from Citrix with quote numbers and text about auto renewal and so on. So you're probably going to get a lot of questions for customers after the 10th of May. And yeah, now you're just a little bit prepared for those questions. Otherwise, just reach out to us and we'll help you the best way we can.
Yeah, we are here for you. So don't be afraid to reach out to ask questions.
No.
So I think by that we are finished, sir. So
yes.
Thank you everyone for attending. As Søren said, this session will be recorded. So if you have any colleagues that need to see this session, share the video, and by that, have a great day.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.